Welcome to another Books and Things with Tom. And of course, I'm Tom. I have been for a long time. And tonight, my guest, I got three guests actually. And Marlisa called me and started talking about mushrooms. And I said, I love mushrooms. I like to put them on my steak. I love mushroom soup, mushroom gravy. You can eat a lot of things with mushrooms. And she said, not that exactly mushroom. It's a little different. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to try to explain some different kinds of mushrooms that I never heard of, and maybe you'll be able to get some education out of it. Now, we're not trying to provide medical advice, but these mushrooms are used for certain types of healings. And treatment or services is it's up to you. And we're not trying to sell anything. We just want to let you know what is available as a alternative health program. Tonight's guest is Marlisa McLaughlin. Welcome.
Thanks, Tom.
Patrick Moore.
Thank you.
Welcome. And some people know Tim.
It's a pleasure to be on here, Tom. Yeah, Mr. Pellin.
It's nice to see you.
Thank you. Great to be on.
And Patrick is a health educator and advisor with a doctorate in neuropathic medicine and a master's degree in nutrition. And Marlisa is a mother of two and a native of southeastern Connecticut, certified yoga instructor and wellness enthusiast, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm sure I'm missing. She has studied craniosacral therapy, a form of body work focused primarily on regulating the flow of
Spinocerebral fluid.
Thank you. The next word I miss, I'll let you know. Anyway, welcome all three of you.
Thank you.
And
Thanks.
Tim is here as a client and is going to discuss a testimonial of using these mushrooms. Do you want to start off? What kind of mushrooms are they?
Well, the main mushroom that we talk about is the linji mushroom.
Uh-huh.
And it's been revered in China for thousands of years. So it's just starting to make its way over as I would say, a household word pretty soon, the way we keep talking about it. Because it's really exciting. There's so much about these mushrooms that they bring so many different ideas to the mind about what else can we do that's natural like this, that has so much potency.
So it's a lot different than the portobello.
Yes, there's hundreds of thousands of species of mushrooms.
Yeah, maybe we could see a picture of it now.
That would be
of the
great to
linji.
see the linji,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
right.
Show your audience.
So, and you can't bite into that because it's got a woody texture.
Really?
So they really have, they have to process to extract, to get out the nutrients from the linji.
Wow.
So
Now-
as Marlisa said, I mean, in America, we're used to the portobello, white buttons. That makes up about 95% of mushrooms.
Yeah.
So people have it for their salads, as you said, for your steak, and we kind of take it for granted.
Yeah.
But in Asia, recorded history for over 2,000 years, they have revered this as the most powerful plant on earth, the reishi. It's in Japanese, lingji in Chinese. It's been known as the plant of immortality. For centuries, it was restricted only for the emperor.
Really?
Only for the emperor, the elite, the lamas in Tibet. No one else could use it because they felt that this was the greatest health intervention to live forever. So we've heard this folklore for 2,000 years, written history, Chinese traditional medicine. We in the West kind of like, well, yeah, that's over there, you know, folklore, mumbo jumbo, is it for real? But the remarkable thing is modern science, all of our scientists are catching up through all their studies and saying, my goodness, wow, what they've been talking about is being confirmed in all of our scientific studies in terms of this being the longevity plant that can affect different mechanisms in our body, from heart to immune system to preventing cancer, pain, inflammation, and help us to forestall some of the reasons why we age prematurely and develop different diseases. So it's very exciting that the company, it's a $1 billion company in China, for the first time is bringing this to America along with a lot of other plants. And did you have anything to add to that on the linji?
I just love it. I love talking
that's
about
a
it.
good
I love
ally.
viewing it. I love.
Obviously, you don't eat the Linji. You don't.
No, it's like a leather shoe
Right,
if you bite
yeah.
into it. And, China, they would have to boil it and break it down in mortar and pestle. But today, modern manufacturing and facilities are able to take the medicine from it and put it into what you see before us in a blended tea, a therapeutic coffee, and different specific formulas. So
I just tried the tea. I think it's very good. I'd like to try the
It
coffee.
is good. I have the coffee every day.
oh yeah,
And I think the coffee's fantastic. And, I take the pills myself. I thought about this on my way here. I said, as we turn 50, our bodies change. We can't eat the same things we used to eat when we were younger. We have to be really careful about what we do, at least we should be. And, and the thing is, me personally, I prefer natural supplements over any other pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Even when a doctor tries to prescribe me a pill for something, I'm always like, I'd like to try to bring things down naturally rather than go on a pill, because you see all these side effects to these pills.
Oh yeah.
All of these ads on TV, they always tell you the side effects are a mile long.
They're scary.
They're scary. It's like, geez, I'd almost rather
those are
have
just
the
the ones we
disease.
know about.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So when Marlisa kind of introduced me to this, I started a trial thing, and at first I tried the coffee, and I absolutely love the coffee now. I don't really drink regular coffee now. I just stay with this coffee right
That
here
happened to
every
me
day.
too.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
And it just, at first it's a little acquired taste, but once you get that taste, it's awesome. And I got to tell you, seriously, I have a lot more energy every day.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for about 3 months now, and I have a lot more energy every day.
Now that is the mushroom that's in the coffee and the tea.
Yeah,
And-
there are several mushrooms that are blended into the coffee and tea. The second one, Cordyceps, if you could put Cordyceps up. We were just talking about this before the show.
Yeah.
Now, that's the type of mushroom, it doesn't look like a mushroom or what we think of a mushroom. It's also known as caterpillar fungus because it actually grows off an insect host, caterpillar larvae that's dead, and it sucks up the nutrients from it. And this cordyceps is, as I was telling you, the most expensive nutrient on Earth.
Yeah.
3 times the price of gold, $40,000 a kilo.
Oh, really?
And it first came to the world attention in 1993 when Chinese athletes broke all these world records, track and field, swimming, and everybody was curious, what are these guys taking? Must be steroids, but no, it was a cordyceps. And science has shown that the cordyceps has a dramatic effect of increasing your oxygen flow in the body and your stamina and your energy, along with helping you to recover from exercise. And there's another story I was telling Tom about the Kentucky Derby winner in 2007, Street Sense. The trainer started putting the horse on all these blended mushrooms. You don't know this story. Blended mushrooms, and particularly with the cordyceps. And these type of horses, they're very high strung. Takes a lot of effort to train them, to get them focused, because all they want to do is take off. And he said it was the most remarkable change in the horse's demeanor in terms of behavior. It calmed the horse down completely, so it could focus and became very trainable, and a dramatically enhanced performance and recovery time. So that's cordyceps, and people are flocking all over. I mean, that's in the coffee along with the Linji also.
Yep.
And that's why people start experiencing it. It's not that adrenaline energy. It's a very calm, nice. I think you'd say nice energy. You feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
and
You feel
focused.
ready to
It's a
go.
calm,
It's not a
focused.
caffeine type of rush.
Yeah.
It's just like you say, it's
Yeah.
very like time released. You
Yeah,
just
time
don't
release,
feel that
gentle,
dragging.
upbeat.
And I real quick, I had a friend over on Saturday, and I showed him this. He had a stroke, and he does a natural cookbook. He wrote a cookbook, and for stroke victims and how to eat healthy. And he looked at this, and he looked at me, and he still can't speak that well, but he looked at me and he gave me a thumbs up, and he said, "Good stuff." That's so because he knows about all this stuff.
That's great.
Now let me ask you a question. They look kind of big on the screen. How big are they? The mushrooms.
They can be bigger than what you see on
Do you
the
mean
screen.
the cordyceps?
Yeah.
The
Like-
witch's fingers?
Yeah.
They always
And
remind
some
me.
of the reishi, that round reishi, the first one, or lingji, also in Chinese, can be almost grow to the
Almost
size
like
of a
this
table.
Oh no,
Gigantic.
really?
Wow.
But traditionally they don't. And they're being grown under very, organically. They're all certified organic. But I've seen all different kinds of sizes. all kinds of
I wouldn't.
sizes.
I can't imagine.
Some people can order it. They'll order a big thing and they'll just, knock a few of the reishi into a soup, blend it into a soup, or things like that. I mean, in a way, we look at this as a tea, but it could be looked upon as mushroom soup.
Huh.
A lot of people take it as a soup.
Wow.
Kids can take it. And that
Animals,
story about
a lot
the
of people are-
horse, we're getting feedback from people who have given this to dogs, their dogs, older dogs especially, and they're converting them into puppies. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but you can see the uplift in energy, the youthfulness because of the nutrients.
I gotta take some.
Do you want to go see the lion's mane now, the third mushroom?
Yes, that's the most beautiful one.
It's so
Yes.
beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
And
Lion's mane, good for
this
the
is
brain.
called lion's mane. And we're just showing 3 mushrooms today, but really we're dealing with 8 to 10 mushrooms. Very unusual, right? What do you think of that?
Hey, it's beautiful. How big is that?
Well, I have not held one
Yeah.
in my hands before or anything like that, but different sizes, once again.
They'll also grow very big.
Yes, yes. Now, it's called lion's mane, and in Chinese folklore, lion's mane, the statement is, this will give you the memory of a lion and the nerves of steel.
Really?
So modern science has tried to say, well, why does the Chinese say that for 2,000 years? Why are they using it for memory, dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, all these neurological cognitive dysfunctions? Why do they think it's so good? And what they've discovered is that this motivates and stimulates what's called nerve growth factor, which means it can regrow brain cells
Wow.
and help them communicate better. 10, 15 years ago, they never thought you have a stroke, you have brain damage, you get older, you lose brain cells. The human being is not capable of growing new brain cells.
Yeah.
But this is shown nerve growth factor can actually do that. And there's one other application it has, and that is for MS patients, multiple sclerosis patients. Yes, they have this erosion of what's called this protein sheath on their spinal cord called the myelin sheath. And as that erodes, communications start to slow. And that's one of the things that diminishes their function and ability. So this lion's mane is able to help stimulate growth and protect that myelin sheath. So the applications, each one of these mushrooms has a multiple of benefits: immune, calming the mind, energy, oxygen, heart. But each one of them also has a specialty. And so lion's mane can do all of those good things, but it has a specialty with this nerve growth factor. So the Chinese love it. If you go through China, I lived in China for a year. The lion's mane is something that's for the old people. But the young people, can use it. Test, school
I
work.
think it's wild. Because you mentioned that it has a lot of DNA that humans have.
98%.
So it could be a cousin.
Debatable.
It could be. They may, mushrooms.
right.
Mushrooms, the genetic makeup of mushrooms is very similar to the human beings. Very similar. Think about this. They experience the same diseases we do. Bacteria, pathogens, viruses, and that's why penicillin came from
Mushrooms.
tetracycline. Have you heard of tetracycline, streptomycin, and everything?
Amoxicillin.
They're all coming from the fungi field because they're experiencing those things that we have. But they have a 100 million year advantage to the human. They've been around a lot longer. They've had to go through a lot of climate changes and develop all these defense mechanisms to make them strong to survive. And so when we take these mushrooms into our body, we're strengthening our immune system. We're putting up all these defenses against cancer, viruses, flus, colds, all kinds of herpes infections, Epstein-Barr. I mean, the applications are just unlike anything we've ever seen in that world of health. And so, dramatic.
I think that's amazing. I just,
Are all of these mushrooms in these capsules and the coffee and the
Each
teas?
one has about 5 different mushrooms, approximately,
Okay.
whether it's a formula, a coffee, or a tea.
Okay.
And they vary a little bit. With some of the formulas, like we may have a calm formula, so you'll have a couple of the basic mushrooms, and then we'll have a couple other things that in Chinese traditional medicine really put a nice calm focus. One thing we've noticed with the tea drinkers is, so many people are under stress today. Anxiety, sleeping problems, fear, panic, phobias. And the way we treat them is we give them Ambien to sleep, Xanax for anxiety, and then antidepressants, all these chemicals which are highly addictive and hard to get off. But the mushroom tea and the linji, and they're all noted for having a special ingredient called gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA. And that is what our neurotransmitter that inhibits stress impulses coming into our brain and dominating. And that affects our whole body. So the Tibetan monks used to drink this tea right before they go into their meditation and mantras, because it would relax their whole body and put them into a calm, meditative focus. So when people use this at work, stress is diminished. It's almost like putting an aura of, stress bounces off. And if it's bouncing off the brain, it's bouncing off the gut and all of your organs. Your heart is relaxing, your pancreas, your kidneys, but you have focus. And we had a doctor who came to one of my events just a month ago, drank 4 cups of tea in the evening. Next day he called me up. I didn't think I'd see him, doctor, from Yale. He said, something, that's the best night's sleep I've had in 3.5 months. It's the best focus today I've had in 3 months. And then he said, I also had the best bowel movement.
Well, better than
That being
philosophy.
said.
Yeah, really.
Not
but
that I
it
wanted to hear that.
Yeah. That's amazing. Now, let me ask you a question. I take fish oil because I've got a knee that is missing cartilage, and it helps. Is there something like that? Would that help, something like that?
Absolutely.
Cartridge?
With any type of those type of situations, you have a little inflammation, cartilage is deteriorating, age, pain, oxidation. The University of Texas, in analyzing the mushrooms, found that they have an equivalent of 5 milligrams of cortisone, hydrocortisone,
Really?
in them. So they're almost a natural anti-inflammatory and analgesic. But the amazing thing is cortisone, prednisone can have side effects.
Yes.
But the mushroom works in a completely new, novel inflammatory pathway inside the body without these side effects. It's remarkable.
Wow.
So I've had rheumatoid arthritis patient, got off methotrexate, which is chemotherapy, and also prednisone. Got rid of them in 3 months just on the mushroom formulas. The pain just disappeared, swelling went down. And in any autoimmune disease, rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's, lupus, there's so many of them, ulcerative colitis. The intelligence of the mushroom is that not only does it dramatically strengthen our immune system, but it does it with intelligence. It makes sure it doesn't overreact. It modulates it so it doesn't turn against us. So in China, they're using this not just to combat cancer and viruses and bacteria, but they're using it to treat autoimmune diseases. So when you take the mushrooms for your knee, you're going to have anti-inflammation, mild pain relief like an analgesic. And there's one other thing we haven't talked about, allergies. I think you would agree, we have a group, about 10 of us, we're educators in the state of Connecticut spreading this. This is the first spring I can remember. We just cruise right through. No sniffling, no watery eyes, because there's a powerful antihistamine in the mushrooms too. Our whole group, and we have 2 ministers, by the way, in our group too, who have to tell the truth, right?
Well, we like to think so.
We like to think so, yeah, maybe they exaggerate, but it's the amount of applications that are built into the intelligence of these mushrooms is stunning. And
Seizures.
pardon me?
We've had, I have a friend who has a daughter who has problems with tics. The mouth is,
Oh, yeah.
the daughter will ask now for them because it stopped.
Really?
And then they forgot one day and she started ticking again. So they figured it out that it really was that powerful. And I find sometimes it's really difficult sometimes to talk about this with too much excitement because it sounds unbelievable.
Yes.
But they're adaptogens. So the mushrooms are going to go into your system.
Yeah.
After about 30 days, it's going to balance your alkaline. And that's one thing I wanted to address was balance, that you're feeling more balanced. I mean, some days one tiny little thing can throw you off kilter and you can't get back on track for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So the alkaline balances. And then they go in, and I loved when Patrick had said this at one of our meetings, because I had thought of it the same way. The mushrooms go in, balance you out, and then they go in like Pac-Man. And they take all that debris out of your system and boot you up.
You brought up the fact about sleeping. My wife, like a lot of women, have a hard time sleeping at night. But since she's been taking this, she has been sleeping better. I just thought about that because
stunning.
you
It
mentioned
really
that.
is stunning.
It's
It's amazing.
stunning.
Yeah,
When the whole body is relaxed and all your organs and brain chemistry, and the gut has a lot to do with it too. I mean, the type of what we call delta waves, deep, relaxing, sleep. Wow, that does wonders for your immune system.
Yeah.
There are two other topics I'd like to talk about, in terms of application, because people should know about them. In Japan and China, the standard of care is to use these for cancer therapy. You see in America, our oncologists are not really, as brilliant as they are, educated on natural medicine. But China and Japan have this 2,000-year history. So they know the science behind it and how effective it can be to complement chemotherapy and radiation and as immunotherapy.
Yeah.
So it's a standard of care there. When I talk to Chinese students or anything that I meet in New Haven and around Yale University, if I mention Linji, cancer, first thing they say, they all know it. And the other aspect that this has always been known as a heart tonic too, because it has multiple effects and beneficial effects on heart in terms of lowering your bad cholesterol, what are called triglycerides, blood fats. It helps gently act as what's called an ACE inhibitor, so it can help with blood pressure. It can actually help with diabetics. It inhibits
Regulates
an
your blood
enzyme,
sugar, right.
and that helps to produce more glucose, which gets you fat and things like that. And you were talking about strokes and things of that nature. It helps let the blood flow more smoothly to help inhibit what's called platelet aggregation, so you diminish the risk of a stroke. So in China, they've always known it as a heart tonic too, going back to the Ming Dynasty in the 1600s. All heart problems, and so cancer, heart, autoimmune. That's why when Marlisa said, how do you get your hands around it? Because it's almost setting a different paradigm than we've ever thought of. We always think, well, here's a medication for this application or for that application. Yeah. And that's why, traditional China, have called this the Plant of Immortality, reserved only for the emperors. So we're stepping into something that's almost...
And they've been using it for thousands of years and keeping it a secret.
Yeah, China's been a closed country up in the last 20 years, 25 years, and Tibet's been very closed, as you know.
And one thing I think that's also fun to notice about this, and as you would say, gently, how it affects you gently. I was taking the mushrooms, I was on balance and calm, and one day after about 3 months, my pants were really loose, and I thought, well, gosh, I just took them out of the wash. What's going on here? So I went and jumped on the scale, and I'd lost 8 pounds.
Really?
8 pounds is a lot of weight loss to not notice.
Because
I had that too.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
I
just really
did.
because,
Yeah.
and
I
I wasn't.
lost
It's the
15.
blood sugar.
Yeah.
You lost 15. I wasn't. You just don't start. You
Yeah.
don't crave anymore.
didn't
You
know I
don't
was even
eat.
gonna bring that up,
that-
but
you
no,
No,
know,
well, it's probably the number one
Yeah,
criteria in America.
right. And I hardly ever talk about that because I always forget it because it crept up on me, and it was a really interesting.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. 'cause
Benefit.
I ran into the
Wow.
same thing. But I'm okay with it.
Oh, I was okay with it too.
The other, we talked about that. After 3 months of being involved with this organization, and some of the comments that I didn't expect to get, because you don't really know the intelligence of the mushrooms, what they're doing is, but women started remarking on their skin, glowing, their hair improved.
Wow.
Nails growing, fingernails and toenails growing,
Yeah. So, there's
It's
a lot of
interesting.
mysteries.
sense
to-
of vitality.
So you're really not sure exactly what else it's doing to us in favor of us.
Many things is
Yeah.
what we know, and it keeps growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, recently, and I have this just because, we can sit here and talk about all these wonderful things, and we want this to be educational. Where
Yeah.
can people find out information
Yeah.
that they can follow up on? And I brought Life Extension Foundation, and they have articles. They've been around for 35 years. Life Extension Foundation, best doctors and scientists and researchers in the world. They have a monthly magazine. But if any of your viewers would like to know more, they can just Google in Life Extension Foundation Reishi, R-E-I-S-H-I, or mushrooms. And you'll come up with several remarkable articles. And for the health practitioners, doctors out there who want, well, where's the study? Where's your citation? This 6-page article has 105 citations and studies.
Wow.
Just to back up a 6-page article. But you'll get other articles by Life Extension, and when you start reading this, you'll think it's science fiction.
Yeah.
It's almost hard to believe that anything can do this much. But then science is confirming what the Chinese knew, and the Tibetans knew, and the Japanese knew.
Well, I think it's a remarkable thing, and it's really nice that people are really paying attention.
Well, the way the company came to us, I think it was ingenious to. How do you get people to change daily habits? People want to change, but they don't know how to change. and you're infusing it in your coffee and tea, and there is caffeine. There's a low dose of caffeine. So for highly caffeine-sensitive people, you want to regulate it. You want to add maybe more water. You can mix the coffee with your own coffee. Patrick likes it with flavored coffee. You can put sugar if you want to. You can put cream in. So you're already doing this. Most people drink coffee or tea. So
Yeah.
just to change over like we did is a really easy thing, and you begin to feel differences. And then the capsules just seem like a natural extension. You just, when you run out or you don't have them and you have a few days of, oh my goodness, you see how much clarity is lost, the balance, and it just really, it's profound. And it also on that spiritual level, and not that you're walking around an entirely different spiritual being. And I'm not saying those demons don't fall out of the closet either, because a lot of stuff comes up that you have to face and deal. At least it did for me, you know, just things about when I get out of balance, how I approach situations. Maybe I'm not as calm as I used to be when that hits, and so you have opportunities. You have a lot of opportunities to change your behavior along with the way your lifestyle changes.
That's amazing.
It really is.
Only got a couple of minutes left. For more information, you can contact Marlisa at piperflynn@yahoo.com, and you can also contact Patrick at SAMOA, Samoa,
Yeah,
PAT,
that's where I was born, Samoa.
at AOL.com. He's also got a website, Nutritions
Nutriscience USA.
Nutriscience.
N-U-T-R-A, Science USA.
USA.
.net.
And it's up on the screen.
There, okay, there you go.
I want to thank you people for being on today, and I think it's fascinating. Maybe we should do it again and try to get some more from it. Maybe I'll try some of this stuff and come back with some.
Yeah,
Testimonials.
hey, let's keep going. Let's go another
They might not
half hour.
recognize you.
Right, they might
You look
not.
like Lions mane.
Yeah. Yes.
They'll have your
No,
hair
that was
growing.
fun. It was a pleasure to, obviously I know Marlisa, but it was a pleasure to meet you. And I'm using the product, and I'm very pleased with the product.
Yeah, wonderful.
And for those of you who don't know, this is Tim from Tim and Lou Dog. He's very quiet today, though.
Yeah, well, you know,
And that's a good thing.
Taking it all
Tears in
in.
their mouth.
but it was fun being on the show, Tom.
Good. I'm glad to have you.
We'll do this again.
And, we'll have to do it again.
Yeah.
Next week, I'm celebrating my 3rd anniversary of Books and Things, and my guest will be my first guest, Patty Brooks. On the 3rd of July is Nina Lake, who will join me for her annual visit. She was here last year. She teaches a class called Death and Dying at UConn. And it's also the 21st anniversary of my son's demise. Doug Seaver is coming on, who has a new book. Steve Lisco is an author and freelance writer. And we also have Tish Raby, who writes children's books. She actually writes the Cat in the Hat.
Oh,
And tremendous lady. For all you inspiring writers, contact me for information on SE Kappa. And a special thank you to SEC TV for carrying the show. Check out the website, www.sec-tv.org. And you can send them a check because they're always looking for money. And they're a nonprofit organization. That's how they make their money, keep the lights on. Tonight, the VFW in Pawcatuck is serving chowder and clam fritters. And Friday and Sunday, they have lunches. Marlisa is going to be starting her own show here, coming up sometime. It's a wellness show. And thank you for watching. Email me at santostom@comcast.net. You should be reading. Cuddle up with a good book. See you next week. Thank you.